Hi there. Welcome to My Other's Keeper. I'm so glad you're here. Body Illusion, Crystal, Brian, Misha was here earlier. She can't stick around. And we have tonight Keilah. Keilah has a channel called Mental Health Matters. And she is not showing her face today because she has been doing pre-op and hospital stuff all day, and the girl needs a break. So let us
Thank
know
you.
if you cannot hear us. Um, StreamYard has been doing weird things today. So if we're talking and you can't hear us, post it in the chat and we will definitely do what we can, or it will be a very short show, one or the other. So yes, welcome, Keilah. Nice to have you on my channel.
Thank you for inviting me, and thank you for being very patient and understanding with the situation I'm in right now.
You're so
Quite funny.
welcome.
So
Well,
thank
you
you.
have no control over it. You have no control over it. So, I mean, it's all good. I get impatient with people who say they're going to come and then don't, and then say they will and then don't, like
Oh, I
that.
told you. I told you
Oh,
if
yeah,
I was
no.
not in the surgery, I would be here.
Yep. Yep. If you're in the recovery room, you were going to be there. No, I'm kidding. Hi,
Or
Chu.
the
Nice to
bathroom.
see you. Exactly. Yes, I wasn't going to tell them you were streaming from the bathroom. That's your secret and mine. That's just the two of us here.
Yes.
Shh.
Yes.
Yes.
I really appreciate you inviting me on. I truly believe you do such great work, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I really appreciate the work you do. And tell the people what your day job is.
Oh Lord, how many hats do I wear? No, I'm just kidding. I'm actually for the last over 20 years, been the CEO and I was a founder of our nonprofit, Commitment to Caring here in Texas. We provide long-term, permanent, and hospice patients housing with 24-hour staff because we would get them in the crisis unit in psychosis, medicate them, turn them back out on the streets. Texas has the worst resources in all 50 states. It's documented. And 2 weeks later, they're back at the crisis unit, unstable,
Yep,
because they have to choose. Do they want to eat or do they want to live or do they want to take medicine?
exactly.
So
Yeah.
we had a long talk, my mother and I actually, and her dream was to make it where they didn't have to have that choice. They didn't have to make that choice. And
Yeah.
and she cashed her retirement out. She was the director of nurses. And
Oh, wow.
that's when it was born. And she's now retired. I've been a paramedic since I was 21. That was my dream job. And I
Mhm.
just moved over to mental health and actually went to law school to be an advocate.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So
Okay. Hey,
a lot's
Mama. Nice
happened
to
in
see
the
you.
last 20 years.
No doubt. Wow. And it's amazing. 20 years sounds like a
Saturday will be
long
our
time.
20th. Saturday will be our 20th Christmas party.
Woo-hoo! Way to go. If I had a participation trophy, you'd get it. Here, I'll
Thank
raise a
you.
glass to you. There we go. Raise a glass
I'm
of
just
water and apple juice. Hmm.
sweet tea right now. You got it.
There you go. Close enough. Oh, well, that's awesome. So, what sort of services do you give the people who live in your facility?
Well, we do I do the medication management.
Okay.
If they're on monthly injections, things like that.
Ah,
We have an in-house doctor and a nurse practitioner and a psychiatrist. I've got my mental health degree, and actually just went back to school, believe it or not, for subspecialties. And because you get a little bit of everything in and out. We have sexual abuse victims, we have trafficking, we have adult protective services. We are the number one facility that they place the abused, neglected, and exploited in because they're safe there.
wow. Yeah.
So we work with a
Wow.
multiple of agencies.
Oh, for sure. So, how many beds do you have?
Okay, so before Hurricane Ike came through Texas, we had
Uh-oh.
6 different facilities, and now we only have 2, so we have 32 beds now.
But still, 32 beds in 2 facilities, that's
Yes,
massive. That's huge.
and it
So
couldn't
how
be
do you
done
keep
without
all
my
those
staff.
balls in the air?
I have staff that are amazing, that are good at what they
Mm,
do, and I train them for
yeah,
what they do, and you either are for this field or you're not. There's no in between.
yeah, yeah. And what would make a perfect staff member for your field?
Empathy, boundaries, and respect.
Perfect. Exactly what I was thinking. Yes. Empathy, absolutely. Boundaries are a must. They really
Absolutely.
are. Yeah. And as nice as these people are, they're not your friend, right?
Thank you.
They
Thank you.
are, and I had
It's
a
hard.
visit with my psychiatrist today, and she pulled a band-aid off her arm. I'm like, oh, what'd you get blood work for? She says, because I'm a human. And I'm like, oh,
Oh,
okay,
wow.
shut that one down. Um, but I mean, that was the boundary, like there
Right.
needs to be a boundary. And I can
There
respect
has to
that.
be, or yeah, and
Yeah,
most of my employees that do not end up working out is because they want to be friends with them because they feel sorry for them. It's not because they're being mean, it's because the
yeah,
opposite. They want to take them all
yeah.
in under their wing. And you can't go into the mental health field like that. It's not
No,
possible and succeed.
exactly. That's the thing. Succeed and protect your own mind.
That's it.
Like you have to protect yourself, because if you don't protect yourself, uh, Crystal
You're
M has the same psychiatrist as I do. She said, "Oh, I could so see her saying that."
But it's the truth. If you're not helping, and
Yeah,
my psychiatrist told me that. She said, if you're not helping yourself, how do you expect to help anyone else? So I listen.
absolutely. Yep,
Yes, ma'am.
absolutely. And that's this what I'm doing now, and telling her a little bit about you is one of the things we talked about. It's like, when I'm feeling like crap, I can put the lipstick on, put on some mascara, a bit of color on the face. You guys saw me the other day without anything on my face. Um, so you know that basically I'm 2 blue eyes and a pair of cheeks, and that's it, without added culture or color. But I can put stuff on my face, and I don't have to, but it helps me put on the mask of I'm okay. And so for the period of time that I am with you, the period of time that I'm with the chat, that I'm on, I guess, for lack of a better word, I am able to listen and understand and really engage with people. After this, I will be very tired and I will probably go for a nap. Even though
Now,
it is 6 o'clock at night here, I will
I
probably go for a nap, wake up at about 9 p.m. and go back to bed at 11 for the night.
that would sound like my dream night because like for the past 2 weeks, the amount of steroids that I've been having to take, I didn't sleep for 5 days and 5 nights, and that's not possible for the body to maintain like that.
No,
And
for sure.
I literally was feeling like I was like seeing into the future. I'm like, what is going on with me?
Absolutely.
But the doctor said
Yeah, you
today,
will hallucinate.
yeah, it's the steroids because they're double dosed and 6 more times potent than prednisone, and I'm taking a double dose of them just to keep the pressure off the nerve because I've already lost the use of one hand and arm. So,
Right, right.
and so
Okay.
my mental health is nowhere near where it needs to be. And talk about exhaustion. I had the most wonderful interview with my friend this morning, and I
Yes, I
literally was
about that.
drained
Yeah.
because it
Oh,
does
yeah.
take it out of you,
It
especially
does.
being
It
an
really
empath. You just have you take on all that.
You do. Yep. It's not something that you can even control. It's just where your heart is, where our heart is, they meet. When I was teaching English to people who were not literate in their home country, therefore they weren't literate in English here in Canada. Um, Basically, the way I figured is the hurt in my heart reached out to the hurt in their heart. So we were able to communicate on a different level. We didn't talk about the hurts, but there was that there, right? And
And
that's
it's
something that
there,
I
and when it's there, it's there.
Yeah, you can't take it away. You can't teach it. You can't explain it. It's just there. Yeah, makes a huge difference. Yeah, Brian's saying this morning with tea was great.
Uh,
And Body Illusion is saying she's still drained from this morning's interview. And
yes,
Body Illusion, uh, it was hers that was so like the sound wasn't working on really well. Isn't that right?
mine wasn't either. Body Illusion's one of my mods too. And the
Oh,
sound wasn't working through StreamYard at all.
oh
So it
wow.
took, I was already a
So,
nervous wreck because we couldn't get the chat to hear us, even though we were hearing each
oh,
other. And then Body Illusion, I
yeah,
was so looking forward to going on to her so I could deprogram, and she couldn't
right.
get it. And I texted, I said, I looked it up. It was StreamYard all across. So I know the draining.
Yeah,
It was draining, but I would do it
yeah.
over and over again.
I'm learning OBS. And once I have that learned, I don't know how to invite a guest onto OBS yet. So I have to do some tutorials and that kind of stuff. But once I'm on that, from what I understand, it's a much more stable program. And
That's what Misha
it's
said. And I told her, as soon as
a
she has
million
that ready,
times less
please let me
expensive.
know. I really need
Absolutely.
that.
Exactly. Oh, yeah. No, I can't afford what I'm paying for this.
I
So,
just
yeah.
yeah, what I just paid for that. And then they go down today. I can't even find a customer service number, and I've been trying all day. Okay.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Oh, and Brian says he's been messing with Restream. Yep.
So
Yeah.
what about Streamlabs? Because I just looked that up earlier while I was sitting here. I don't know anything
I
about
don't
that.
know. I don't know about them. But let's get back to topic and talk about
Yes.
people with
People.
mental health. We could sit here and just discuss platforms and such all night. Um, but let's go back. Um, you were saying that there's a lot of people, there's a lot of blah, blah, blah,
Recidivism.
coming back.
Yes.
Recidivism. Is that right?
That was before
Recidivism.
that's before our facility. Recidivism. Yes. That was before our
Yep.
facility. We have the lowest recidivism rate in the entire 4 counties around us. No
Ooh.
one, yes, no one, um, is got a recidivism rate as low as we do, because we make sure that they can take their medication. And here's the rule. You have the right to refuse your medication, but
Hmm.
you do not have the right to refuse your medication and remain living in our facility. It's dangerous to
Yes.
themselves, it's dangerous to others, and to my staff. So with that
Yes.
rule and thumb, and that we never back down from that, that is something that doesn't go. They take their medications, they get their injections, and
Hmm.
the doctors decide
Yeah.
when and if they don't need it anymore. But
Yep.
it's a
That's
lifelong illness, because what they do is they start to feel better. They don't need it. They quit taking it, and it's a vicious cycle. So we
it
have the
is.
lowest
It is.
recidivism rate around, and I'm very proud to say that.
Oh, that is awesome. That is so awesome. Because people on the street don't develop mental illness. People with mental illness end up on the street. Like you said, it's a
Thank
choice. Do I
you.
eat? Do I buy medication? Do I have a life of
Pay
any
rent.
sort? Pay rent? Live in an apartment? Live in a hotel room, like one of those dingy little pay by the hour hotel
Yeah.
rooms? Or
Yes, ma'am.
or do I actually, have a roof over my head at all?
It's
How do I
sad.
do this? Yeah, it is terrible. Yeah,
And
my
that
husband and I
it
were
drives me
just
every day.
mhm.
It
My
drives me
husband and
every
I
day.
just
Mm.
my husband and I were just calculating how much my meds are, per month, and it would take half. He gets paid twice a month or every 2 weeks. So it would take half of one of his paychecks, of one of those 2 weeks paychecks to pay for my meds in a month. So
And it's
that's a lot
it's
of
too
money
much.
without
It's too
insurance.
much. It's too
It's
much.
insane. Yes, absolutely.
I'm not going to get off on
Absolutely.
that tangent and scare your chat, but I could have a whole 5 hour live on the medication.
Yeah. Yeah, that's for sure. Oh, Misha's here, and we've got Mac as well. Oh, awesome. We've got some fantastic people in the chat. People, chat. please input to the conversation, ask us questions, give us your wisdom, because without wisdom from other people, we've got nothing, right? We have Keilah here,
That's it.
who has been in this industry as a caregiver for, you said 20 years is your 20th
This will
Christmas
be our
party?
20th Christmas party. Yes, ma'am.
Wow. So what is
We,
the most
we,
difficult? Sorry?
go ahead. I would say we had our first patient 040404.
Oh, cool. Oh,
Yes.
wow. I like that. I like that. Oh, yes. So what is the most difficult part of your job as a
Um,
caregiver?
I'm sorry about the noise. I
That's
was
okay.
just getting into my house. So I was trying to get here quietly.
Yeah, that's
The
okay.
the most difficult, it's when they go into psychosis and they go unstable and they don't know it. And we try to, you can't reason with them. Okay. So you know that once that, and to get them back stable without having to put them in the hospital, we're very meticulous. We work with the doctors and the
Mhm.
psychiatrists. And, I think the worst part of my job in the last 20 years was having to change a resident from her regular psych meds, get her, wean her off of them, put her on Clozaril, which is a very potent drug, and wean her up to to titrate her to a therapeutic level. And I felt like I personally damaged her, putting her into psychosis, but she would have never made it in the hospital doing that.
Oh,
That will never leave
wow.
me. That will never leave me. And this was just this
Wow.
last year. It will never leave me. That
Okay. Okay.
I'm not
So are
equipped. My
you,
heart isn't equipped for that.
when I think of the process of doing that, I think of doing surgery. You're going to hurt someone, there's going to be a scar, but it is so that they get better.
Thank
Do you
you
know
for
what I
that.
mean?
Thank you
It
for that.
doesn't
I
it
needed to hear
it
that.
doesn't make it easier. It just means that it's something that had to be done.
It
Um,
did.
yeah, absolutely. Well, you're also a mother, correct?
I am a bonus mom. I get to
You're a
be the bonus
bonus
mom.
mom.
Yes.
Awesome.
And with a
Yes.
brand new bonus grandson.
Oh, yeah. Nice. Awesome.
So so I
As a
balance my home
mom,
life and my work life. It was difficult at first, but we
oh,
can
yeah,
do hard things.
absolutely. Yep, that's right. Well, as a mom, well, I'm a mean mom because I learned from a mean mom, right, mama? Um, I learned that there are rules. I learned that there are reasons for
Absolutely.
rules, and I might not like them, but, for example, if I slam that door, I'm gonna have to open that door and close that door 5 times quietly, or I'm not gonna be able to continue on. And if I slammed it even once in that 5 times, I would have to do it again and again. The last time
You
that
sound
happened, I was in, pardon?
no, I said your mom sounds like mine. I was raised with a psychiatric RN my whole life. And my mom's motto is keep talking, I'm still diagnosing you.
Love it. But the last time it happened, I was in grade 12 and I had slammed the door, and mom's like, "You open and close that door 5 times quietly." And I looked at her and I laughed, and she laughed, and we both laughed, and I opened and closed that door 5 times quietly, laughing our faces off. But I did it. I did
That
it.
I've learned from a very young age. My mother did not accept disrespect, and we did not ask why. We were very disciplined. She's got 4 girls, and there's every one of us have been successful, and we've
Mhm.
never been in trouble because we were raised with the boundaries and the rules, and we were not to ask why. We learned later
Mm.
in life what that meant. We had to learn
Yeah,
those lessons in life. What choices are we going to make for ourselves? She gave us the
yeah,
roots. Now she gave us wings.
yeah. See, my girls did ask why, but we always told them why. We always gave them the information so that they were educated in, no, you can't do this because blah 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 blah. And even at 3 years old, it was like, no, you can't do this because whatever, but it would be at a 3-year-old level, this is why it is, rather than
That's
at a,
something I wished would have been different. That is something I wish she would have done different because
Yeah.
I think I probably would have understood more instead of just being the fear of the, I'm not, my mom is, I
Yeah.
love my mother, please, but the fear of just being in trouble or being disciplined
Yeah.
but we were
Absolutely.
just raised never to ask why. But then later in life, we learned why
Yeah.
as we grew up.
And that's our generation. I think you and I are within like 5 years of age of each other. And like it's just within our generation, that's how we were raised because that's how our parents were raised. Then
Right.
we raised ours, and then our kids are being raised slightly differently but similar, and then they're going to be raising their kids, and our kids teach us how to raise them in the same way that we teach them life. Do you know what I mean? If
It's
we're
exactly right.
parents and we're paying attention, I think
No,
that's
you're
important.
exactly right. Yeah, it is important. And what's very important on that is I see I see the younger generation with their children, and I mean, I work with everybody, so it's no judgment on anybody how they parent. That's their own choice.
Mhm,
But
mhm.
I see some mothers that want to explain to a 1-year-old a 10-mile sentence that this child, you're
Yeah,
not doing this child any good because by the time you're through explaining that, what was the point?
yeah,
Then I've also seen where the older individual should have probably been answered, and it would have helped
yeah,
them with their whole entire life, and they were blown off.
yeah,
So it's
absolutely.
just a mixture, and it's society and
There's
the
that
societal
balance.
norms. Yes,
Yep,
yes. So
and
it's
it's so
a
hard. I tried.
complicated question. I mean, that really
Oh,
is.
it is. I tried really hard to not make the same mistakes my parents did, and I didn't make the same mistakes my parents did. I made whole new and creative mistakes, and
There you
trust me,
go.
I hear about them. So, yeah, um
I
oh,
think
wow,
putting a
okay.
stable foundation for our children is the number one priority for me,
It
anyway.
really is. I believe so. 30 years ago, Misha stood in a courtroom and was told that she was not going to be allowed to work a program that her peers were because, in the judge's actual words, she had no support system. He didn't believe the second part hasn't come up yet. Um,
I'm gonna wait for that second part, and then I have something to say about that.
yeah, I have a feeling I know where this second part is going. Because without a support system, nothing will survive. Nothing. I mean, even hydroponic plants need that water, right? They need their roots
Absolutely.
to filter through that water. So
Yes.
an amoeba, a single
And a
cell
little
organism,
fertilizer, which
still
is called
needs.
love, you know?
That's right. Okay. So he didn't believe I could make it, fooled him for 14 years. Today, however, I stood in that very same courtroom with my daughter. I used to feel so powerless. I had no idea how powerless could feel. Now I
Wow.
know more. Oh,
Wow.
Misha.
Misha. Oh my gosh.
Oh, honey.
Oh, dear Lord. I have chills from one end of my body to the other. Misha, I love you.
Same here. Yep. Yeah, just all over the place.
Yes, that's powerful.
Yes, that is. Absolutely. Misha is a trooper. She is
Yes.
an amazing, strong, strong woman. She's
Uh,
feeling utterly broken right now, she's saying.
oh my
Um,
gosh.
yeah, Misha, you have the support of everybody here, the entire village, and
Oh,
all
Misha,
the
you know
states and
I'm here.
provinces around. Absolutely.
Yes.
Um, and you know, Keilah and I and Crystal and everybody else, if you need a phone call, we are that close. So I don't care how tired I am, what kind of headache I have.
That's
Trust
right.
me, they've been bad.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, they are they're nothing
Wow.
compared to the hell of having to go through court
Right.
regarding your children,
That's right.
you know? Like that just is a whole nother layer right there. I am
Yeah.
so grateful that my older daughter grew up and has decided to become a psychologist because she knew how difficult it was for me to find a good psychologist.
Oh my
My
gosh,
younger
that's
daughter,
inspiring.
I know, right? Yeah, she amazes me. My younger daughter is, I'll post this in a sec, Mish. My younger daughter is working at a grocery store, and as a teenager, and I'm very proud of her, first of all, very proud of her.
Absolutely.
During COVID, we found out who the important people were. We did not need actors. We did not need sports stars. We needed people who worked at stores. We needed mechanics. We needed doctors. We needed nurses.
We
We
needed
needed
maintenance
cleaners.
people.
That's
Mhm.
right. We needed
Yes,
the lower of the echelon. Anyways, so she has an important job. She keeps the
very proud.
produce at that store very fresh. Anyway, I'm gonna quit. But
No, but that's
when she was
amazing.
yeah, when she was 16 or so, 15, 16, she came to me and she's like, "Mom, thank you for being a good mom." I'm like, how many
Oh
15 or
my god.
16-year-olds come to their mother and say that?
I'm not sure.
But she was
You know what? I don't think I ever did, and that's sad. I
my
don't think I
my
ever told
daughter
my
was
mom that.
babysitting a girl who's who was being spoiled rotten by her grandmother, not by her mom, but by her grandmother who was babysitting her. So
Yeah.
it was the tools that my daughter learned by being my child that she was using in babysitting this other child, in how to discipline without abusing, in how
Right.
to talk to a child without talking down, without all the tools that
Right, the
I have
balance.
learned from all of these people, my daughter was able to use for this girl. And she's like, "Thank you, mom. You're a good mom. I really appreciate that." And I'm like, "Oh, I did something right." And then I found
You
out
did
later
it
how many
right.
things wrong I did.
No, you did that right. That's amazing.
Yeah. So Misha says, "Love to you guys. I will be okay. She will be okay. I know this. It sucks
We know
though.
you did okay.
Watching her go through the system that destroyed us. If it would have been like this, if it would have been like it is supposed to be, none of us would be where we are now. I'm so angry.
And you have a right
PDFs
to be.
and murderers, they have rights. But us without a village, we get arrested for being poor." Oh, yeah.
What a profound statement, Misha. What a profound
Is it
statement.
ever?
Um,
Misha.
my God.
Yeah. I am so grateful living in the country where I do, having the medical system that we do. There's still things that we still have to pay for out of pocket. Our drugs, really expensive. Medications, very expensive. Glasses, still very expensive. Dental work, still very expensive. But
Right.
we have insurance through our province and that kind of stuff, kind of like Medicaid,
Yes,
the Affordable Care
I have.
Act, that kind of stuff. It
Yes,
has
I have two
been,
friends that live in Canada, and they
yeah,
get excellent medical care, unlike us down here that would be waiting till we could get the money to do it.
yeah. That's the thing. In the States, it's excellent Medicare if you have money. And
That's it. And
that's it right
my
there.
poor patients that don't have anything, that doesn't have anything, like literally,
Yep.
they come to my facility with the clothes on their back, if that, and we go buy them
So
clothes.
how is your facility funded?
We are a 501(c)(3) nonprofit. We have a lot of churches that do the most for us. If someone,
Mhm.
their rent is based on a sliding scale. So if they only make $10 a month from anywhere, then that's what we go on. They pay $3 a month. If they make $1,300 a
Really?
month, then we go through that. We make sure their co-pays, their medications, their doctors. We take a small portion of what's left after they pay their bills. And then we get the funding when we're lucky. A lot of it is faith. A lot of it is walking by faith. And for the last 20 years, I've learned to walk in faith, because there's been times that I didn't know we were going to be able to pay the light bill. But then
Oh,
something
yeah.
always happens.
So speaking
It,
of walking by
it makes it
faith,
happen.
speaking of walking by faith, chances are you've seen a miracle or two, like a legit Jesus did it miracle or two.
Oh,
Would you be willing to
all
talk
the
about
time.
some of those? Hey, Indigo,
Oh,
would you be willing to talk about a couple of
absolutely.
those?
And I mean,
Awesome.
I don't even know where to begin because I know that so 1 month we lost, it's right when the pandemic, this has been going on though since we started. My mom's faith is strong and she passed it on to me
Mhm.
for sure. But there's been times like when on March 12th of 2020, we had 34 residents living in just 2 facilities. And March of 2021, we had 18
Oh,
because
wow.
we had, I mean, that's total, 18 total, because and I did not let COVID get in that facility until May of 2021, but they couldn't leave. They couldn't have visitors. It was
Yeah.
taking a mental toll. So and the rules were they walked off. They couldn't come back if it wasn't for medical reasons because they're not going to bring that in there. We have a lot of breathing problems and a lot of hospice patients.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, it was like on the 5th and the 15th of every month and the 25th that we were losing somebody, and it wasn't to COVID.
Huh.
And I was like, okay, we've never lost this many people in 20 years or 16 years. What is going on? It's because they were being refused medical care when we sent them out because they didn't have COVID. So they would send them back to us in the same way that we sent them out by ambulance, and they would die
Yeah.
there. And I held more hands than I've held,
Oh,
but one hand of everybody that has died there. I've been there with them from the very beginning, and I will not leave them. And sometimes I was breaking down in the middle of the month going, we do not have enough money to keep the lights on this month. And all of a sudden,
right.
the next day in the mailbox would be a donor check from an unknown source. And it would pay the light bill, and it would buy groceries. And I cried more tears than I can tell you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
When you don't know how you're
Yeah.
going to feed 18 people or keep the lights on and keep them warm, and then you have a check that just shows up in the mailbox, that's a God thing.
Oh, is it ever? Yep. Yeah. I've seen people healed, like legit healed. I remember when I was a child, we were living in a little town in Alberta, little French speaking town. And there was a baby that our church was praying for. Every Wednesday night we had a prayer meeting. There was a
Right.
baby we were praying for who had polyps all throughout their intestine. And I
Oh,
remember we prayed and we prayed and we prayed, and the baby was supposed to have surgery the next day. And when we got the call about the baby the next day, the surgeon could find no polyps, no scarring, no nothing. You
really?
can't tell me
That is
that's
a
not a
God thing.
miracle.
That's only God
Yeah.
can do that. Only God can do that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'm wondering if Mama can
Yeah.
remember that.
And
That has
we,
just
we,
imprinted on my brain.
we've also had one, and I'm going to tell you this one. This is the one that stands out to me the most, and it's the opposite now. Now, granted, okay, this is the opposite of what probably you're expecting to hear. But we had
Okay.
a resident we've had there for years, and he was
Mhm.
diagnosed with lung cancer, small cell. It was
Mm.
very rapid, and he had never
Mhm.
slowed down. He's always he said, I'm not going to the hospital. I'm not getting radiation. I'm not getting surgery. I'm not getting anything. I don't want that. And it was not a week later. He got up, went to the bathroom, come back, and laid in his bed and died.
Wow.
But that's what he wanted. He did not want the rest of the stuff. And how do you fault somebody when he
Right?
knew exactly, he was lucid, and he didn't do anything to himself. I just truly believe because of his faith, and he didn't want to suffer. God did not make him suffer.
And that's exactly what I was thinking. Yes. He knew what he had. He didn't have to go through all of this pain for so long. It was like Stephen who got stoned, you know,
Right. Yes, ma'am.
and God just put him to sleep. It's like, nope, you're just going to sleep through it and you're going to die.
And that's
You
exactly
know?
what he did. Nothing was wrong with him. Like he had just got diagnosed, but we don't know how
Right.
far it was. But he literally walked 2 steps to the bathroom, walked back to his bed, and that was it. It was over.
Wow.
And I truly believe that was a miracle. And I'm saying that because I know him. He was there for so long. We're their family. There's so many there that
Mhm.
don't have anyone to come see them ever. Christmas, they never see a person, but my employees and
Yeah.
me, or
Yeah.
volunteers may come out every now and then, but not since COVID.
Mm.
They see no one. They have no family. They die alone, but they will never die alone with us. That we are there with them.
That is beautiful. That is beautiful. During that time when Bradley got his diagnosis, we were bringing in $400 a month. When I tried to apply for Medicaid, they told me it would cost $1,000 a month.
Yep.
Not much has
Yep.
changed since then, and yet,
No, nothing's changed since then. It's gotten worse.
yep, still here.
When an insurance company, I'm not going to go off on this tangent, I promise. I'm going to say this, okay? This is something I feel very passionate about, so I am going to say this. When
Very
an
fair.
insurance company can tell someone with a mental illness that they are on too many antipsychotics, so they're not going to pay for their $8,600 a month injection anymore, and then they're going to just let them try these different pills. I'm sorry. When did they become doctors?
Exactly.
And I
Yep.
have fought this. We're fighting it to this day, like this month. That's in today, tonight. We're still fighting. So his psychiatrist brings him his injection.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow. That just, yeah, the insurance company, we canceled my personal insurance because it was costing, it kept going up more and more and more. Right now, it costs about $200 a month less than what my meds do. So yeah, we'd be saving
That is,
$200, but that's still a lot out of pocket.
it's a lot.
And my husband's insurance won't pay for one of my medications, and it's a $500 a month medication. So like it's like, okay, we need to
This is
work at this.
no. I'm sorry,
So
but big farm. Something's got to give. Like we have real
something does.
people with real problems, and they don't have money,
Nope,
and
that's
they
for
need
sure.
they deserve the same amount of respect and care that we all can get.
Speaking of which, you're having surgery when? Tomorrow?
I will find out when I walk out of here. I go Thursday. I come back to Houston on Thursday for pre-op to finish it up, and then
Okay.
I'll know the date and time. Yes.
Awesome. Awesome.
And I've never been more excited to get my neck cut open, my throat cut open as I am right now. I
That
was
sounds
scared the first
awful.
time. This time I'm not.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, this has been
Oh,
debilitating.
oh, for sure. Mom says, I don't remember much from those days. And I know she doesn't remember much from those days, but I've experienced God's healing in my life for my brain and life situations. Absolutely. Yeah. Um, yeah. Hi, Marie. Nice to see you. Um, it's just, and Misha has coupons for medication? Really? I didn't know
Yes,
you could do that.
we have Good RX here, but that doesn't really do much. Good RX. I mean, it's certain medications it'll bring it down to like
Okay.
something that maybe they can afford in 3 months, you know. But
Mm,
like antibiotics, though, it does help with that a lot. It brings the antibiotics down, prednisone, things like that, but not their mental health drugs. It really doesn't affect it a lot. I mean, I have won
oh,
$700 with the Good RX for one medication for an antipsychotic.
hmm,
And that's just once a day. Their
yeah.
injections are $8,600 a month.
Wow.
And when you have an insurance company that makes the doctors change their medicine once a year just to make sure that they're still effective, no, they're still effective because they're not in psychosis and you're not paying a hospital bill.
And they're not in psychosis because they're working, not in spite of the fact that they're working.
But
They're
our
not
insurance companies here do not see it that way. They make the doctors switch one of their medications up every year. And then we go
really.
through this whole, yes, but we keep them home
That
and we
is
make sure they stay stable.
that is
It's a
so
battle. It's a real battle.
oh, wow, for sure. Indigo is, quoting one of my favorite poems. "Lord, you said once I decided to follow you, you'd walk with me all the way. But I noticed that during the saddest and most troublesome times of my life, there was only one set of footprints.
Yes,
I
that's
don't
right.
understand why, when I needed you the most, you would leave me." He whispered,
Okay.
"My
I
precious
didn't leave
child,
you.
I love you, and I will
I
never,
never left.
never leave you during
I
your
carried
trials
you.
and testings.
Yes,
When
I
you
carried you.
saw only one set of footprints, I carried you." That's
That's the
right.
truth. That's the truth.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
we walk like that every day that we work. My employees, they are nothing but God sends because when you find the right employee that will care as much as you do, you can trust them around
Mhm.
them and that you know that they have their boundaries and they're going to be okay too when they go home at night, that is a godsend.
Yeah, absolutely. And the fact that they're waking up refreshed enough the next day to come back,
Or if they've
and
had a hard
you
shift, if
you
they've had
take
one.
care of that employee. You treat them like the
Absolutely.
gold
Yes.
that they are. Yeah.
And
My mom
unfortunately, being a nonprofit, I can't pay my employees what they're worth. I never will be able
no.
to because,
Yeah.
but they do it because they want to do it. And
Yeah.
that's the heart of a volunteer is there's nothing bigger. I know
Yep,
they get paid, but they
absolutely.
don't get paid what they're worth.
No. No. My mom was a long-term care aide, or what they call, oh, I don't know what they call it now. Anyway, a long-term care aide most of my life. So she worked in a nursing home. And yeah, it takes a special, special person to work in a care home of any
Yes,
sort. I would not be able to work, I think, in a care home with people with Alzheimer's, for example, who have lost the ability to spend time in reality, and they sit there and scream and scream and scream.
so
I
our
don't
state
know
law,
how my heart could handle that.
so our state law is that
Mhm.
once they become, or if they have a main diagnosis of dementia or Alzheimer's, if that's one of their, their axis, their top axis, we cannot accept them for intake. But,
Mm,
but if they develop it, which most do because of the drugs, and the lifestyle that they've lived before they got to
right,
us, if they
right.
develop it, they are allowed to age in place. They're allowed to go on hospice or home health, and they're
Mhm,
allowed to make their decisions until they leave this earth. And that's
mm,
okay unless they become a danger to themselves or others, and we just can't. And they run or they run off, and we can't. That's why we transfer them out. But I can tell you this: I will not transfer one of my residents out. I will sit up there with them 24 hours a day because I'm not like that. We can't do. They're our
no.
family.
Yeah, absolutely. When they have no one, you are
No
who they
one.
have. You're the one God has put in their place, right? Or in their space.
My hospice
So,
patient, they're there till they're gone, and we hold their hand till they leave this world.
mhm,
I don't care how long that process takes, if it takes 2 weeks, if it takes 2 days, if it takes 1 hour, they're never alone, and we make sure of that.
mhm, mhm.
And we've got so many of their ashes that I had so many on top of my desk that I was talking to them all the time. I locked my keys in my office and I said, "Hey, buddy, unlock my door." I mean, it's just like they were still there. I mean, it's just like they're still
Yes.
around, and everybody laughs. I
Yeah.
said, "You have to make fun. You have to make a joke out of it because they made a
Oh, yeah.
joke out of it. They loved their life
Oh,
there.
yeah.
They wanted to
Oh,
be
yeah.
there. And they
I
mean
have
the
a
world."
I have a friend, who has schizophrenia, and, one of the posts I put on Facebook recently said, "I'm no longer allowed to go Christmas caroling at the psych center. I guess 'Do You Hear What I Hear' was the wrong one to choose."
I
And
love it. Oh my God, I have to put that up at the house. Oh my gosh, I would
I
put that in
know,
my
right?
office.
He laughed and laughed, and thing is, I am the person
That's funny.
who can say that to him because we have that relationship, but I know there's gonna be somebody out there who's gonna come, "That is just so rude. How dare you say that about somebody who's disabled, blah, 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 blah." Like, "Okay, honey, look at the, alphabet after my name and we'll talk," just and when I
You
say
know
alphabet,
what?
I
My
don't mean
residents tell me
PHCs.
that. My
Yeah,
residents tell me that that song comes, the country song comes on. God is great, beer is good, and people are crazy. And that we don't use that C word ever ever around me.
oh,
Like
yeah,
that
no.
sets me off into another mindset. But when my residents are out there singing it and saying that's about
Mhm.
them and that's their song, that makes them happy. They love it.
Absolutely. Yep, yeah. Nico says that that's an area she wants to get into. She wants to start volunteering at a hospice and see where she can go with it. There is an
Hospice is a
associate
very
that's a
special,
whole
rewarding. Try
oh,
that
yeah,
and and the psych side in the same facility. That
I
becomes
don't know.
a little hard.
I can only imagine. I really can. And Crystal Phoenix says she can't understand normal thinking. Yeah.
We
So
don't have anything normal. The only normal is a setting on a washer and a dryer.
exactly. Yep. Oh, Crystal used to work in the dementia unit. Yep, and that's the unit
The
where
saddest,
I do not know that I don't know that
I
my
can't.
heart could handle that.
No, I can't.
Um,
I can tell you that I can't. I can't. That's something I cannot do. I say
yeah,
we can do hard things. I can't because that is the cruelest disease on this earth. They take
it
you
is.
away before you're gone.
Why are you poking?
Yeah, they don't have no clue where they're at, what they're doing. And the farther that they go back, like the more memories, like of their younger days, we know that it's closer and closer to time. And it's so sad that if they do have family, their families don't understand it. And then we're having
Yeah.
to try to educate the families and try to keep the person safe and feeling like, but they don't know. They're gone.
Hmm.
I could not
Absolutely.
work in that unit ever.
They call it the long goodbye. And my
It's
stepdad, my mom's second husband, died with Alzheimer's. He didn't die of Alzheimer's, but he died with
right.
it. One of the miracles I can absolutely tell you, oh, I love this one. 3 weeks before he died, he got very sick, and they took him off all of his medications and sent him to the hospital. And we all had to gown up and all of that other stuff. It wasn't during COVID, but we had to gown up and all of this stuff. This was in 2017, and we had to just be very
Wow.
careful. But we got him back. He recognized us all. We were all
Was it
able to
for a
talk.
split moment? Was it for a split
No,
moment? Or, oh, really?
yeah, we got him back for 3 weeks. 3
Wow.
weeks. Mama
That
can
is a
attest to
miracle.
this. That is a miracle. So when we had his funeral, we put the fun in funeral. It was really, truly 100% a celebration of life. You know, each of us 5 kids, his 3 boys, my sister and myself, we're steps, but we've been brothers and sisters since 1991. So, longer than we haven't been. But
Wow.
just the way the family came together, they insisted that we, as the bonus children,
Right.
have a part in his eulogy, have a part in saying farewell equally to what they had, because we had been his daughters in equal time, kind of thing. So, I mean, just those brothers that stepped up so much. The whole thing was just such a blessing,
That's a miracle. That is a miracle. I've never
isn't it?
heard that. That is a miracle.
Yeah,
I've
yeah,
seen them
absolutely.
open their eyes and have that moment of lucidity
Yep,
and then, say what they needed to say and see who was there. But then I've never
yep.
heard that long. That is a miracle.
I know. I am, like I said, I've seen miracles. And just the joy, the absolute joy. We actually, as kids, we got together and we bought one of those edible arrangement things and took it to the
Oh,
nurses at
yes,
the
my mother's
hospital.
favorite.
And we took it to the nurses. We said, we want to thank you so much for taking such good care of our dad when he was here. You guys were just phenomenal, and yada yada yada. They're like, "Oh, how's he doing?" I'm like, "Oh, he died yesterday." They're like,
Oh, Kim.
"Okay,
Stop.
why are you so happy?" Just
Oh my gosh. I
it
needed
was
you to make me laugh today, and you did. Thank you. Because that would have gotten me too. I'm sorry. That would have.
well, I've done my duty now. I'm good. I
Yes.
can go take my.
Oh my gosh. Just to be a nurse like that and hear that I would be like, okay. But if you work in those units, you understand,
Oh
you
yeah,
know.
absolutely, absolutely. Yeah.
And that's just something I could never work in. I was the paramedic, the trauma junkie. I wanted to go on every call. That's why my
Oh.
body is broken down like it is right now. I
Mhm.
worked so hard as a paramedic. And then God doesn't always put you where you want to be. He puts you where you need to be. Because I swore I would
Mhm.
never work psych. I didn't want anything to do with it. I was raised in it my whole life. And
Yep.
God puts you where you need to be sometimes.
When I was in high school, my guidance counselor said, you need to be a teacher. And I'm like, yeah, no, thank you. That means I'd have to go to college for how long? And I'd have to do blah, 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 blah. Last thing I want to do is stand in front of a whole pile of high school students or little kids and teach.
Right.
There's no way I wanted to do that. What I didn't realize is that I was a natural teacher. I went into hairdressing and I'd be shampooing somebody's hair saying, okay, I'm using this. This is why I'm using it. This is how I'm using it. This is what you do. Rinse. This is how you rinse. This is why you rinse
Wow.
this way, yada, yada, yada. And just as I'm cutting their hair, it's like, okay, this is what I'm doing. This is why I'm doing it. As I'm blow drying their hair. And I will have done their hair like 5 times. And I'm like, do you get
But you,
sick of me telling you all this? And they're like, no, it's always good to have a reminder of how to do it properly. And, it's like,
that's
okay.
true. No, that's true with
But
anything. That is absolutely true.
I have been to so many hairdressers who have no clue how to teach their clients how to do their hair. To me, that's a given. It's part of the job,
So your
but
counselor
they
saw
aren't
you,
natural
saw that in
teachers.
you. She saw that in you when
So
you were younger.
they did. So when I quit hairdressing, I went to Bible school. I got a double degree in biblical and intercultural studies and a teaching certificate as for
Overachiever
speakers of other
much?
languages.
Overachiever much. I'm very proud of you.
Well, with bipolar disorder and 2 preschool kids.
Wow.
I don't do
Yeah,
anything
no,
easy. I just
no.
don't. So it took me 4.5 years to do a 4-year degree. I felt kind of bad about that. And my grade point average was about 2.6, something like that. And so that's like a good B minus,
So can
C
I
plus
tell
B
you a
minus.
secret that I learned in medical school?
What's
I
that?
learned that if you get a 4.0 or a 3.2, you still get the same paper that graduates you.
I know, right? Exactly. My teachers were all saying, we're shocked that you were able to pass these classes at all with the amount that you had to do. And I'm like, really? Well, yeah,
It doesn't
you
matter
were a
what the grade
full-time
is.
mom, full-time student, full-time wife. It's like, plus I had to deal with this mental illness thing going on in my brain. So God has blessed me so abundantly that if I don't bless somebody else, I think it is wrong. I think it is really, really an egregious error on my
Okay,
part.
so I have 3 goals every day that I live my life by. The first thing is
Yep,
I'm going to find something to smile when I get out of bed. The second
yep,
one is I'm going to improve the life, even if it's just a little bit, of someone every day. And the third one is I'm going to be better today than I was yesterday. That's my
yep.
goals. And to learn some
Those are
knowledge every
great.
day.
Oh, that's awesome. Those are great goals.
Those are my
So
goals. Those that
how do you implement those at work in working with your people?
when I see them walk in my office in tears, wanting to know why, their daughter hasn't called them in 15 years and doesn't know why. And I can pull out a piece of paper and say, why don't you write her a note and let's ask her? And I can go put it in that mailbox, and the joy that's on their face just for that little bitty small act right there. That's what does it.
That's awesome. Yep. Yeah.
It's just little
We've all
things. You bring somebody a cup of tea and you would think that they've never had tea before.
Yeah.
It's just little acts of kindness that you can do to improve the life of others and pass it on and keep passing it on. And maybe this world will catch on.
Yep. Well, like we've all been talking about for quite a while now. Like I've only just recently come into this world of connection and all of that. My channel will be 1 year old on January 1st.
And I'm also going to
So,
promote your channel on Mental Health Matters. And Misha can
oh,
actually post your link anywhere on the community page would be great. I would really like for people that are with Mental Health Matters to be able to jump in and listen and be a part of you.
that'd be awesome. Thank you so much.
You're very
I would love
welcome.
to be able to talk to these people and like we're doing now, just have a good conversation, learn from you, from your experience, share our collective wisdom. Um, yeah, just
That would be great. And if Misha, I know she's had a bad day, I can, when I get to my computer, I will make sure that I do that. And because
mhm.
mental health matters, it's very important. And it's also very important to support people that support us and that have us on their platforms. And because of the connections, that is the basic thing, the connections.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many people out there. My residents, there's some that have lived there for 19 years and have never had a visitor.
Wow. I'm just going to
I
post
think
what
about that.
Misha was talking here. She has a series of posts here that I think are really important. She worked OJT in a nursing home at 16. There was a lady who was a quadriplegic. I spent a lot of time with her. First time I met her, she had a pea and a bit of carrot literally stuck to the skin in her clavicle. I sat for so long, gently cleaning her off. As soon as I was finished, I raised so much hell.
Right.
For months later, every time I would visit, I would hear her yelling my name down the hallway. Heartbreaking.
That's so true.
Absolutely. Yep. OJT
One
is on the
act of
job training.
kindness. One act of kindness.
To me, that's not even kindness. That's humanity. One act of human
Yes. Yes. I know.
humanity, treating somebody like they are worth keeping clean. Like
So
if I choose not to wipe the
you have
schmutz off
some,
my face, that's me.
you have a friend of mine that lives in your country. And
Mhm.
her and I sat down in Nashville, and she wrote a song, and she put it on her album because she got the whole entire of what I feel into that song. And her name is Tenille Towns, and the song is called Somebody's Daughter. And if anybody ever wants to listen to her, that song is about my facility.
Really? Somebody's daughter.
Somebody's daughter.
Writing that down. Tenille Towns?
Tenille Towns, Townes. That will make you think when you drive past the next person standing on the street, that's somebody's daughter. Did they forget her or
Yeah.
did she get lost?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, again, just goosebumps thinking about, yeah, every one of these people is,
They're human souls, is what they are.
yeah, they are. And yes, Marie, Calgary is YYC. Sorry. Canadian airport codes. I live close to
Oh well.
YXE. So, yeah, if that
I've
makes any
never
difference
been
to
to
anybody.
Canada. I've never been
It's a
there.
great
So
country.
that would be
It's
beautiful
a
to
great
see.
country.
I'm way down in the other end. I'm on the Gulf of Mexico. I'm way across it takes longer to get through Texas than it does the rest of the United States.
Yeah. Okay. It just goes to show how much psychotic drugs affect the mind of a dementia patient. The drugs are given for
Absolutely.
their own safety and for the safety of those around them. Or you have another one, Mama? Okay, no,
Okay, so I'm going to say something if you don't mind.
not at all.
I do believe that all of the lifestyle, I mean, we know that lifestyle counts, okay? And people that are younger with mental illness that self-medicate and things like that, that don't know that they're diagnosed with a mental illness, that's all factors that I do believe feed into dementia later on. And I have a resident that passed away at 40 something years old to prove that fact. But that
Ooh.
because of his lifestyle and the amount of self-medication that he used before he got to us, well, we got him. So, but then you put them on psych drugs. We don't know the ramifications to this day of some of these drugs.
That's right.
We just treat
We
the
don't.
symptoms. We don't treat the what's coming.
Right.
We don't know what's coming. So he
Yeah.
passed away about 5 years ago. About 5 years ago, and he died from frontal temporal dementia.
Oh, wow.
It's a very
Yeah,
fast
basically the
acting,
front of his brain just got eaten.
right, that it's just mush. And it's because of the
Yeah.
lifestyle, but it's also because of the psychiatric drugs that they gave him. But his lifestyle was really bad too. So, but I do believe that. We do not know the long-term effects of some of these drugs. We just treat the symptoms. And that is where we should be a whole lot further along.
Yeah. Mental health does not get the research. It's not a pretty illness like cancer.
You know, you can't
which
just
sounds
take a
weird,
picture and see a
but
broken bone, and
that's
fix it.
right. Absolutely. You can't look
Oh,
at somebody's brain or you can't. One of the first things I talk to people about my mental health on a regular basis. And
oh yes, it
if
is
you
not
look
that it need to be a stigma. It needs to be talked about. Absolutely.
exactly, if you take a look in November, I had an episode and it just says it's all about me. Um, and I give the longer version of my personal mental health journey.
Right.
And one of the first things I say is to look at me, you would never know anything was wrong. And you wouldn't. I mean, I'm not walking around going, just, like I'm no big faces. I don't have a hunchback. I don't have horns. I don't have, well, sometimes when my hair isn't right, it does do a little flippy thing. But anyway, um, um,
But no, you're
yeah,
right
it's
about
just,
that.
yeah,
But did they know
it's
that
just
1 in 5 people are going to experience a mental illness in their lifetime?
4, 1 in 4.
4 in Canada, it's
Yep,
4. Oh wow.
yep, yep,
Well, you know
yeah,
what? Since COVID, that's probably correct on our end too, because
absolutely.
it's just grown exponentially, and so has the pharmacies.
Yep. Indigo, having had a cancer and also a chronic illness slash mental health diagnosis, they resemble that statement. It feels so seen. Absolutely.
No, I mean
And
it's
sometimes the
true.
ones fighting have the biggest smiles are the ones fighting the hardest.
Yes,
But we're smiling. Don't
that's right.
forget that. Yep.
The biggest myth ever about anybody with a mental illness is that they're the most dangerous people. No, actually, they're not. They're the
Less than
least dangerous.
2% of people with mental illness are actually
That's
violent.
right.
Yep.
Thank you for saying that because I said that on my channel the other day. Thank you.
Oh, really? Oh, no, that's one of the big things we stress, and it is specifically people with schizophrenia because people are so scared with somebody
Schizophrenia.
with schizophrenia. I
Mhm.
don't call somebody with schizophrenia a schizophrenic. That's something that has been really
We
taught
don't
to me
either.
is like, I am not my diagnosis. I am not a bipolar.
I am not my
I
label.
have
I'm
bipolar.
not my label.
That's
My
right.
name
I
is
am a
Keilah, and
person with.
I have been affected by ADHD, by CPTSD, by anxiety disorder, and by depressive disorder. But they do not define me. My name is Keilah.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And at the end of my presentation, I say, you know what? You need to know I don't suffer from mental illness. I live with it. I love through it, and I view life through its lens. I'm not crazy. My psychiatrist said so.
I love that. I really love that.
That's
Yeah.
that's how I end every presentation.
I love that. That makes a
Yeah,
profound statement. I mean,
I'm glad. Yeah, it's one of those things that people need to know that, like you said, you are not defined by your illness. You're
I am
not
not.
defined by your economic status,
That's right.
whether it be high or low. You're not defined by your marital status, by your gender identity, by your whatever label people want to put on you. That's not your definition.
Society labels, that's not who you are. You are who you are.
Yeah, absolutely. You are what your heart is, right? If
I
your
believe
heart
that.
says that you
Yes, yes,
are
100%.
a little butterfly flitting around, then you're probably a little bit of a butterfly flitting around somewhere going there. I'm looking
Right.
at the butterflies on the wall here. Um, excuse me.
Butterflies, you just reminded me of another one of my residents. I'm sorry. She passed away.
Oh
And we saw a
no.
dragonfly and a butterfly right out her window right afterwards, and I'll never forget it.
Oh,
And now
oh
it's not
wow.
the same one. I know it's not, but I always say, there she is.
Yep, that's right. Yeah, it's amazing how just the littlest things can remind us of a person who has passed. And as long as that little thing makes us smile,
Right.
that's the impression, right? That's the impression we
That's
wanna
it.
leave for people.
When I'm
Absolutely.
gone, that's what I want people to remember. I want them to smile when they think
Absolutely.
of me.
Same
And at
here.
least say
Yep.
that she tried to do it. I don't like that word try, and that's a whole nother subject, but just
Yeah.
that she did the best she could to
Mhm.
to improve this world and leave it better than she found it. That would be my
Oh, that's
segment.
good. Yep, absolutely. Yeah. Misha says the dash. You've got this date here, this
That's
date
it. It's
here.
all
What
about
you
the dash.
bullshit is the dash.
It's
The
all
dash in between is
about
what
the
the life
dash.
is. Absolutely.
That's it. It's all about the
Yep.
dash. That's exactly right. What's your
Yeah.
dash going to read? And I think of that
Exactly.
often.
hmm I don't think of it specifically in that way, but I do think of that, like that idea of
Yeah,
what
because
am I
you're
leaving
born.
here?
Right. You're born.
Pardon?
So
Yeah.
we're all born. We're all going to go. What are we going to do with that
Yep.
dash there? That with our life? It's our choice.
Yeah. Well, and I know your grandson, he took his life when he was 13,
Yes, you did.
and there's a recent anniversary of that.
Yeah, it was
What I
November
remind
29th.
people, pardon?
November 29th.
November 29th. What I remind people in my presentation is that I tried when I was in grade 7 and I tried when I was in grade 12. What I don't say specifically is, had I actually succeeded, I wouldn't be here today to tell you about how life gets better.
Thank you for
There is
saying
hope.
that. Thank you for saying that.
You're
And I mean
welcome.
that because it's been a rough one with Dylan this year for some reason. Really
Yeah.
heavy on my heart. And that
Yeah.
baby didn't, I mean, his life was cut short. And I don't know why, and
Yeah.
I'll never know why.
No.
But he took his life. And all I can say is that he was put here for a purpose, and maybe he filled out his purpose and God took him home. And I have to go to bed with that at night to live.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's especially hard. I was at a funeral for a friend of ours who took his own life. It was the most sad funeral I've ever been to.
I,
And I'm not
I,
saying that funerals are generally happy,
right.
but
But
that was
there's a
the most
difference.
sad.
I wouldn't go to my
There really
grandson's.
is.
I wouldn't even go see him
And
in there.
the way that funeral, if I hadn't already in my mind said that I will not take my life, I'd already made reasons in my head, I will not take my life because of that, and that. If I hadn't already done that, that funeral would have done it for me. Because
You
my
know,
life isn't a loss. My life is a victory. My life
my
is
mom
a
taught me
victory over. Sorry?
my mom taught me, she said, do not do a permanent solution for a temporary problem.
Absolutely.
That was her motto.
That's absolutely right. Yes.
So
Unfortunately, I do
I
need to
just
do a
can't never
temporary.
go.
I'm sorry, I
Go
just
ahead.
need to
I'm
do a
sorry.
temporary solution because my headache is just starting to throb really badly. So I do
It's
need
time for
to.
my meds, so I do have to go too.
Yeah, I'm really sorry for cutting because this is such a great conversation.
No,
Um,
Kim, when I get through with this and get back home, I would love to come on and be able to like not look like I do right now, just come on and sit and talk with you.
I would love that. I would absolutely love that. I have 2 shows at the end of the month, the 26th and the 31st. I have nobody booked to be on. Um, I don't know how many people are gonna wanna be on because those are really close festive days, but
Well, I
those are
won't be
sometimes days when people need community, and
yes,
sometimes people need to hear a friendly voice.
I won't be going
So
anywhere. I'll be stuck at home. So
there you
you have
go.
me.
All right. So if anybody wants to come and be on with me, um, just email me at myotherskeeperis@gmail.com. Okay. Or find me on my Facebook. Let me know, and I will put you in for either the 25th or the 31st. We won't be heading into the whole midnight hour kind of thing, so it won't really get in the
And
way
I
of
believe we're doing a
any
24-hour
celebration.
stream. On
There you
Christmas Day, we're doing a
go.
24-hour stream.
Yes, yes, yes. And New Year's Eve, the same thing?
It, I'm not sure. I haven't talked to Misha yet. I don't know about that. I know that for sure for Christmas. So no one's alone.
Absolutely. Yep. So I'm not doing one for Christmas, but I am doing one on Boxing Day and I'm doing one on Christmas or New Year's Eve. Hey Barbie, nice to see you. So
I,
yes,
thank you.
thank you for being with me tonight, Keilah. Oh,
Thank
thank you so much.
I'm very honored,
You,
and I'm going to make sure that, your channel, I'll go take care of all that. And I really want to thank you for inviting me and for being very patient with me.
you're very welcome. You are so welcome. You are a wonderful person, and I just feel honored that you agreed to come visit. So thank you very much. Thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight. And I will see you all tomorrow for the daily devotional. The daily devotional tomorrow will be the 11th. We didn't do today's because I had to go to the doctor to get a medication for my head. So yeah, I hope everybody read Psalm 126. That was the
Oh, my
reading for
favorite
today.
book.
Anyway, I know, right? Psalms are awesome. Okay,
Hey,
I'll talk to you
Kim,
guys
check out
later.
First Samuel. Kim, check out 1 Samuel chapter 23.
1 Samuel 23. Okay, I will write that down.
That's where my name is from.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, I will look at that.
Yes, ma'am.
Alrighty.
Okay. Thank you so much for having
Thank
me
you so
on.
much. Have an awesome night, folks.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.